Baiju, I'd like to welcome you to our series of interviews today.
Thank you very much.
Tell us a little bit about your background and,
Well, my background, I was an academic. My background is in psychology. I used to teach psychology. So, this business area, I'm not a natural businessman, not a natural entrepreneur at all, if there is such a thing. So my background is in academia. I used to teach psychology for a number of years. And originally I wanted to be a sports psychologist. That was my dream. That was what I wanted to do. But various sliding door moments meant that I ended up in sales, a sales job, which again, I was only supposed to be there for a few months, but ended up there being 9 years as a sales director.
wow, a few months to 9 years.
So that's it. And then, I left in 2007 to start my business.
So let's just rewind back, because you're already doing something, you already achieved quite a bit. You started something that it was kind of a stopgap, I suppose, or just tried it out. And 9 years, from what I understand, you was very successful at that.
Well, that was a problem. The irony is, if I wasn't, I would have actually had to go back to do not go back, what was happening? I left teaching to complete my master's. I wanted to be a sports psychologist. So I started August time in this sales job, and I gave myself to Christmas to finish the master's. And I did that. It was finish a dissertation, some articles, and I got my master's just after Christmas. And then I was literally looking for a university to go and do my articles. And in that time, I got one of the biggest deals the company's got. And they used to pay weekly by check, so you used to see the red money. So all of a sudden, this week I've got a check, more figures on there than I had 3 times when I was teaching. So I thought, this is
That's
unreal.
Tough one to walk away from.
It is. Then I thought, you know what? I'll give it 3-4 months. When it goes pear shaped, I'll go and do it. Take the money while it's there. I had 2 young kids, so it was an easier decision. It never went pear shaped. I got promotions every 6 months. They sent me travelling. I went to America. I went to countries that you wouldn't have gone to normally. And it was great. And that took, with the young children, it was easy just to carry on. So 5-6 years into that. And then all of a sudden I realised one day, do I really want to retire from this job? And that's when I started thinking about it. Actually, it was the psychology, the sports psychology thing anyway, was too far down the road to go back. Science has changed and I was too out the loop. And that's when coaching started to come a bit more aware in the UK. So as you do, you went to every free and paid courses going. And again, I talked a good game for a number of years, but eventually 2006 went to see Anthony Robbins, all that, rah, rah, rah. Boom, yeah, right? And
it was, to hit them.
Yeah, we'll do it again.
Boom.
Right, and it changed my life. It gave me the courage what I thought up to that point that I thought was stopping me. I wasn't good enough, wasn't the right time, didn't have enough, all this stuff. And really, the real reason, I just hadn't get my finances sorted out. So I thought, all that's stopping me leaving my job and starting a business.
Can I just stop you there? Because that's a big thing for, so we talk about following our passion and doing what's important to us, but as a father of children and you're responsible for your family and maintaining that, to jump ship and change, I imagine that put pressure on your
It's the biggest, most people who start a business after being in a job either be made redundant or a life event has happened. I physically left a paid salary under my choice and left from income to zero.
And I bet back then certain people within your would have thought
not certain people, everyone.
Everyone. Yeah, you're mad. What are you doing leaving?
Yeah, but they knew, because the kind of person I am, they said, well, let him, because if he does screw up, then you'll get another job, whatever, right? So I'm still waiting to get another job.
How's that working out?
Well, I'm here, and I.
So that's, when we met, that was, you'd already, and so much so, you wrote a book called I'm an Entrepreneur, Get Me Out of Here. So tell us a bit about your first book and what it took to write that first book.
Well, the first book was about, because people used to ask me, how did you do it? Oh, I wish I could leave my job and start my business. I said, why don't you? And the same things, mortgage, kids, responsibilities. I said, well, I had all those things. But I decided, no, I'm going to do it. So I thought, do you know what? I'm going to tell my story, how I did it. And then I thought, well, my story, why don't I tell other people's stories as well? So I interviewed 11 entrepreneurs of different backgrounds.
So it's a whole collection of
interviews and my interpretation of their stories.
Right.
So the whole thing is about, look, doesn't matter whatever background you have, whether silver spoon, academia, nothing,
circumstances,
whatever,
you can,
through choices and through attitude and putting yourself in the right environment, allows you to achieve certain
So tell us,
things.
how easy has it been to do that in reality?
Easy to do what, sorry?
To actually, when you do take the leap.
Oh, it's the hardest thing you can do. Yeah. But I don't regret, it's like you're in control. It's like what problem is worthy of you? Do you want the problem of worrying about just to pay the bills, but not enjoy 40, 50 hours a week? Or do you want to say, I want to create something? There's a great quote on the back of my book. Entrepreneurs do a number of things that others wouldn't do now, so they can live tomorrow that others can never live. Right? And that's what I live by. So have I arrived? No, I'm not. But I'm so enjoying the journey.
But I bet you've learned a lot about yourself.
I've learned more about myself in the last year.
So here's a guy whose background is in psychology, very successful in sales, travelled extensively, and a year or two in entrepreneurship has taught you more.
Oh, massively.
Because you have to learn whatever there is to learn to get through.
Of course it is. Because what society and corporate teaches you to be safe, to be sane, and to be secure, right?
And that's all fear-driven, isn't it?
That's all fear-driven, and it's society. It's because schools want you to go out with a qualification, rightly so, because they've done their job. If a kid says, I want to be an actor, and a school really encourages it, yes, they encourage it, but really encourages it, and they end up a job in actor are not really good, the school hasn't done their job. But if the school says, you know what, that's very good, but make sure you get qualifications, we've done our job, right? Mum and dad, rightly so, want their kids to be safe. Do what you need to do. So,
but earlier on we've been doing a number of interviews, and we've got more coming. One of our contributors, Hack Sally, was saying how that what schools are teaching now is actually redundant. It doesn't equip young people to come out into the world, and because things have changed so fast, and the current education model works it's working for its remit is out of touch now. And actually, you come out, you can almost start with nothing in these opportunities. What opportunities are you seeing coming now? I mean, like, you're quite into social media. You're involved with some groups that are very cutting edge around this area. What is it for those people that are still not utilising it as much or not quite understanding? What do they need to do?
Social media.
Understanding those technical tools or the modern tools.
The one thing about modern tools and social media, they're all enablers. It allows you to connect and be part of groups and organisations that you wouldn't otherwise. So why is that important? If you go back to the cavemen, right, you can't achieve anything on your own. With cavemen, they were in tribes. With tribes, you can achieve cultures. When you achieve cultures, communities. And that's where things start to happen. You need leaders in there, but you also need people who are going to do stuff. What social media allows you to do is enable that to an extent whereby there is no more boundaries. What people got to understand, it's not going to go away. So to be social online is to be exactly the flesh here. So it allows you to connect with the kind of people that you want to connect with. That means that proximity isn't the issue now. Before, it was proximity.
So you could be anywhere
in
the world like that.
Absolutely, and you can connect with the kind of people you want. And what that also means, the danger of that is the people who aren't playing the game authentically will be found out.
So it's transparent.
It's massively transparent. You can't
like eBay. You can't keep selling things misdescribed.
Eventually, Eventually, it's going to come back.
Behind that project, there was a name, wasn't there? I mean, do you want to say a little bit about how you came about to actually put the whole thing together and what that expression was?
In terms of the bigger picture? Well, the aim was to join up what these kids are not getting to what they could be getting. So, because entrepreneurship doesn't mean business. The direct translation for entrepreneur means to undertake. And what greater undertaking is there than your own life's purpose? So the vehicle of Wannabe is more about identifying what do you really want to do with your life. Don't be a victim of your circumstances. Or your past. Be a success of your choices. So what Wannabe gives them is choices they didn't know they had.
Fantastic.
And allowing them to make mistakes, to fail, and knowing there's an environment that enables them to pick them up and say, look, do you know what will help you?
So if someone wants to find out more about that, it's Wannabe...
WannabeAnentrepreneur.co.uk.
Great, fantastic.
If you Google my name, you'll find it.
And there's another thing I'd like to plug, not plug, but actually share with people, is the Entrepreneur TV.
The TV thing is potentially big. There's nothing. Business entrepreneurship should be about fun. Shouldn't be about, oh my God, stress, money. They're going to have those things. So the new Entrepreneur TV channel is going to be the #1 resource for anybody who wants to change their life, whether it's to start a new business, get a dream career, be a singer, be a dancer. So we're going to have, it's not just
about the common understanding of becoming an entrepreneur, like you're going to go and run a business, but the entrepreneurship of evolving your own sense of purpose.
Entrepreneurship is a mindset. It's a thought process. So someone who wants to audition for the Royal Ballet to get a
it's still entrepreneurial endeavour.
The thinking they need to get to there is the same as someone who wants to run a business.
Yeah.
They're selling widgets.
Well, because you're dealing with sharing your ideas, getting knocked back, failing.
Everything.
And then when you become successful, people go, amount of times people say, it's lucky, it's easy for you. And I look at it and I think, do you really listen to what you're saying? Or sometimes I've had people say, you've got the gift of the gab. But I'm like, Well, actually, I just keep talking so I can get it right.
Yeah.
There's no, and so that's great. So Entrepreneur TV, they can find out. And you're interviewing lots of different
people, and it's going to be, you know, we have different shows. So it's not just about interviews; it's different shows, magazine type shows.
Right.
And we're looking to raise finance.
And how's collaboration played a part both in Entrepreneur and Wannabe?
Well, the thing with collaboration is by virtue of the way collaboration works, there are trusted people in there. So I don't have to go out and find out whether they're good or not. If they're part of the collaborative unit, I know they're already good. You know, or it's not about they're good. Of course they're good, but their attitude and their mindset,
So
there's
a mindset alignment.
They get their alignment. They get that helping first, giving first, is the way you're going to progress.
Because you know, there's an old adage: you never go into partnership with your friends. You never go into business with friends because you feel that. And I think it's not about friendship; it's about alignment. If you're not, it's getting the alignment right. Like all parties are going and pulling in the same direction.
Which comes back to values.
Which is magic. Yeah, exactly. That's where the magic happens. And something I've been talking about recently a lot more about is the magic. It's like we kind of in this era of information, we want to understand everything. And then there was a time when people put the light switch on. You don't know how the electricity works, but the light goes on. Right, and I think the magic of the transformational contextual approach, I believe that the next 20 years is about context. Exactly, like what.
Well, the last 20 years has been about context, but they've numbed it down because then people will, you know, it's like, well, there's a whole thing going on there.
Yeah, we could go into that. Right? But so how do you see B collaboration? You know, what would you say to somebody watching this today and thinking about, would I want to be part of B collaboration? Is it something I want to be interested in? What would you say to them?
If they're feeling, is this it? If they're feeling, well, do you know what? I keep on doing good stuff, all of a sudden, bang, it sort of falls down. And you want to be part of a network that not only sort of helps you grow yourself and your business, but also gets that there's certain things that happen intangibly in one's head that you can't talk to your family and friends about because they think, what are you talking about? That's the kind of group that we are.
So basically it's a place where people can come, meet like-minded people, share ideas, contribute.
And it's not networking. It's not networking. It's, you know, networking happens as a consequence. Yeah. When you go to the pub, you network. That's as a consequence, but it's more about a mindset and an approach and alignment of values.
Great. I want to say thank you very much for taking the time to come in today, and I wish you all the best with the TV channel and, of course, Wannabe.
Thank you very much.
Baiju.
Cheers, Erkan. Take care.